The prison guards have raided Ian Huntley's pad and confiscated items. Now, if you did see the video that I done a couple of days ago, speaking about this horrible monster of a man who has supposedly been swanning around Frankland Prison with a makeshift football shirt with the number 10 on the back, mocking his victims, 4-year-old Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. Now, I'll just give a brief description about what I was talking about in that video if the viewers that are watching this one didn't see that video. So, in prison, you are not allowed football tops. Ian Huntley has got a top and he's now made it so it resembles a Manchester United football shirt. Obviously, he's been drawn on it or doing something in the art class or whatever to make this look like a Manchester United shirt, and he's put in big numbers on the back, number 10, which some of the other cons and the prison officers say is him mocking his victims because the two innocent girls were 10-year-old when he took their lives and they were wearing Manchester United shirts when they disappeared. And this has been all over the papers the last few days about this monster swanning around the wing with this shirt on. Obviously, an inside source has leaked the information because they are not happy with what they've seen or witnessed on the wing with this monster swanning around, mocking the victims, and the screws having their hands tied and not being able to do anything about it. And I did mention that old school screws, days before the CCTV, would have ripped that shirt off his back and given him a couple of black eyes to go with it. But obviously, the way things are now, you can't do such things, especially in the prisons because of CCTV all over the place, and they've got to wear body-worn cameras just like the coppers out here on the streets. So another prisoner had actually put a complaint in saying they weren't happy with the way he was walking around with this makeshift Manchester United top with the number 10 scrolled on the back. So he's put a complaint in saying he wasn't happy about this. And obviously the screws aren't happy about it, so someone has leaked the information. And like I said in that video, I don't know how this has been allowed to happen. Why hasn't someone ripped it off his back? Or more to the point, why hasn't the governor went on there and ripped it off his back? But maybe it's that governor and them screws. I know they do watch me channel. Maybe they've been watching the channel and they've thought, right, enough's enough. We're not having this. We're getting made a mockery on Ricky's channel behind bars. So we'll best go in there and do something about it. So they've raided his pad, looking for items that he shouldn't have. And what I mean by this as well, making an example of him, they will disrupt his every day-to-day living inside the prison because he's not only made a mockery of his victims, he's now made a mockery of Frankland Prison because Frankland Prison is now in all the national headlines for this happening. And that governor, the number one governor of the prison, will be absolutely foaming, knowing that his prison is having bad press because of that monster. So he'll be thinking, right, now it's our turn to get one over on you. We're going to raid your pad, which they do in prison. When they want to piss you off, them screws and governors, security screws, they will go in, rip your pad to pieces, put the dog in. The dog will be lifting, stinking of wet dog. Put it in your pad, sniffing all over your pad, jumping all over your bedding. So your pad stinks of dog after the screws have spun it. So when you go back in your pad is absolutely lifting. Dog hairs all over. Everything tipped out. Your sugar, your coffee all tipped all over the place because we're looking for contraband. And the t-shirt, obviously what they went in there looking for. If he didn't have it on and they didn't rip it off his back, they'll have took it out of his pad and he will not be getting that back. But he is now mourning, and like I've said in that previous video, This is why the screws and the governors are scared to say or do anything, because these type of prisoners, the beasties, or grasses, they don't think twice about grassing. That's why a lot of the screws actually like them as well, because the grass on everybody who is in their wing or whoever they come into contact with. So the grassing on the other beasties or anybody who's supplying or whatever on the wing, because the type of prisoners that they are, they're not classed as we're committing a normal crime. They commit crimes against little ones, and they commit crimes using the man bits, and them S offenders are a total different breed to any other prisoner. And like I've just said, they don't think twice about snitching on the other prisoners, or snitching on the screws, or putting complaints in saying they're not being treated fairly. So this is why the screws and the governors pussyfoot around them, because they don't want the hassle of having to answer Comp 1A forms, which is a complaint form inside a prison. So the likes of this predator, this beast, this horrible person, will be putting complaint forms in constantly. So now his pad's being raided, there'll be a Comp 1A form going in, which has to get answered from higher up. And then, if you're not happy with the answer, then you can then do another comp, I forget which one it is, to then get another answer off someone else for somebody else to look at. So it's just a hassle for the prison system. And that's what these freakos do inside a prison. Constantly putting comp 1A forms in against the screws, against the prisoners, against the regime, saying they've been treated unfairly, and it becomes a hassle for them. So the screws do everything they can to not have to go through that rigmarole of answering. Well, it's not them that answer it, it's normally people higher up off the wing, so they've got to answer these forms about these people inside a prison. But you people outside watching this will be thinking, how dare they put complaint forms in about how they're getting treated when they treated their victims the way they did. Them two little innocent 10-year-old girls didn't get any compassion, didn't get any fair treatment of this horrible, despicable person. And then he's got the cheek to put complaints in because they've took his t-shirt away from him, or they've been in his pad and stripped his pad to bits and left it a mess and left it stinking of dog. But that's exactly what these type of freakos, like I've just referred to them as, do. And the wing that they're all on, Air Wing inside of Frankland Prison, is where they keep the most high profile of prisoners. The likes of Levi Belfield, Wayne Cousins, I keep forgetting this one, David Fuller, the Morgue Monster, the Grinder Killer, forgetting his first name as well, Stephen, there's do that many videos on these type of predators inside a prison, I can't remember. But anyways, these are all housed together because these are all the most vulnerable to attack from the other inmates. So they keep them all together so that obviously they aren't going to be attacking each other. They will at some point, probably, but because of the way they are, they probably will not dare to raise the voices at each other because, like I've just mentioned, forms getting put in, reports getting put in, screws pussyfooting about them. Imagine going into work having to look after these freaks and being scared to say anything to them because they're going to put complaints in or whatever, and then you get struck off or you get moved on to a different wing when you're already comfortable on that wing, working on there with obviously your work colleagues, but then you get moved off the wing because one of these freakos has put a complaint in and you've got to get moved wing. The screw's got to move wings because of that complaint of one of them prisoners. That's how fucking pathetic and mad it is inside the system as well. Pussyfooting about them. Bring back the days when the screws used to give them a bit of a hiding when they deserved it. But like I say, this is outrageous what's going on with that football shirt. The moment he done that and put a number 10 on the back, them screws should have just went in and said, listen, you're taking the absolute piss, get that top off now, or you're getting tucked down the block. Tucked down the block and getting a good beating off the block screws. But like I've just mentioned, the block screws and that, as much as they'll give an ordinary prisoner, an ordinary criminal, a good old beating down the block because they'll know that they won't grass, they'll not give one of these a beating because they know that they'll grass on them and put complaints in and try and sue them for compensation. How mad is that, people? The screws won't think twice about bashing the normal con, but they won't bash one of these because they'll grass on them. You couldn't make it up. But I'm keep bringing you these type of stories, people, because the ordinary folk out here in the community who's never been to prison, never been involved with crime, doesn't know the ins and outs of the going on inside a prison, like to hear this type of content, and I'll bring you facts on here. Like I said, when I seen this story first pop up, I didn't want to just jump on and do a video about it because I didn't actually believe it myself, because a lot of the papers, and when I say papers, the online articles, they were all saying, or a few of them were actually saying that he actually did have a Manchester United shirt on. But I was thinking, well, that can't be true because I know from first hand that you can't order any football tops from inside of prison for obvious reasons. Because when there's football matches on and you're wearing a top and you've got a rival who you're playing teams against, a bunch of violent criminals, it could go off. So I knew that wasn't true. But then obviously when I dug into it a bit more and found out he's made a makeshift top and he's put designs on it himself to make it look like a Manchester United top with a number 10 on the back. What a despicable, horrible, horrible person. Now he got life with a minimum of 40 years, and that was back in 2002. So that is 23 years ago. So he's got another 17 years before he's eligible for parole. And he is now around about 52, I believe. So he'll be nigh on 70 when he comes up for parole, but he won't be seeing the light of day again. This person, I'll refrain from saying what I want to really say because, like I say, YouTube, the way that things are, when you say certain words, the video flags up, so I'm refraining myself from talking about them in a certain way. But you get me drift. This horrible bacon will not see the light of day because he will be in a high security prison for the rest of his life. There's no way he'll be getting downgraded to category B, then C, then finally free, because he's that high profile, and it doesn't matter where he goes, the other prisoners won't give him a chance. They will not forget. The ordinary prisoner will not forget about what this monster done. And I've done stories on him previously, but he's been attacked inside a prison. And one of them, he nearly lost his life when the attack was so ferocious, he nearly bled out. But he lived to endure it another day. I was going to say he lived to fight another day, but he'll not be fighting because he's a coward. He'll not fight men. He just hurts little ones. But he lives to get injured another day. But on that note, people, I'm going to leave that one there for now. Hopefully you are enjoying the content. And as usual, if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, people. Stay safe.